Hey friends, today we want to discuss how to properly manage disagreements in your marriage. So when it comes to disagreements in your marriage, the key, the number one thing, y'all, is to think about honor and respect when it comes to your spouse. No matter what the topic is, no matter what y'all disagreeing on, honoring and respecting your spouse as a person and as your husband or wife is the most important thing. We want to make sure that we are honoring them, what they say, honoring and valuing their opinion and what they have to input into the conversation.
So for the second tip, I'll give y'all is always be quick to listen and slow to speak. Whenever you get in these intense moments, in these arguments, a lot of things, emotions can be wild. So always be quick to listen to what your spouse has to say, and then you can be effective in your responding. You can get an understanding in each other's perspective, hearing what your spouse has to say, how they may have felt about something, or what, they were thinking in the moment, or what they see in the moment. That way you can be able to collect your thoughts and take a breather and respond gently, not out of, harsh, in the moments and your emotions and things like that, but gently to respond to them. That way it can kill a lot of confusion and those emotions, can be, dealt with in the moment.
So one thing that we took away from our premarital counseling was it's not about being right, it's about being one with your spouse. So if there's ever an instance where it's like, oh, it's my way or no way, or I'm right, you're wrong type of thing. Like, no, redirect your thinking and saying, no, it's about us being one. So how can you guys come into agreement and compromise with each other, not your faith, not, other crazy things, compromise with each other to come into a common ground on what you guys have decided as one, as a marriage, as a couple. Also before God, how can you decide something together before God that's honoring?
And yeah, definitely like disrupting that whole saying of happy wife, happy life, happy spouse, happy house. Yeah. It's together. It's not just one partner being happy. No, it's the whole house. Both spouses being happy.
Yes. Okay, guys. So we're just adding to tip number 2 that Alvin stated about
being quick to listen and slow to speak.
That's right. In order to be quick to listen and slow to speak, you have to be humble, y'all. You have to say, okay, I don't know it all. Let me hear somebody else out. A lot of times when arguments or intense fellowships happen, it's because the other person feel like they're not being heard. So they raise their voice or they react out of anger because it's like, okay, nobody hearing me, nobody listening, and I'm sick or tired of saying the same thing. And so when you humble yourself and you say, okay, I realize that this is causing a friction between my spouse and I. How can I humble myself to say, let me listen, let me incorporate whatever this person is requesting so that we can have a sound ground to maneuver in.
Just adding a disclaimer to this, y'all. If your life isn't not submitted unto the Lord, meaning, you are in a relationship with Jesus, you have the Holy Spirit, things like that, and you're in a marriage, it might seem hard. Well, it's going to be hard because your life isn't submitted unto Him, especially if you're unequally yoked with someone. It may seem a little bit hard, but, there's always hope through the Lord, if you are unequally yoked with someone, if you're married to someone that's not a believer, whatever the case may be. But just adding this disclaimer here, it's going to seem hard because we have to die to ourselves. We have to die to our flesh. We have to carry our cross. So we're going to run into these instances to where it's going to be like we have to humble ourselves. Even if our spouse isn't willing to listen to us, then we have to take a humble approach in order to, include these principles, these steps, this wisdom that the Lord has given us in the Bible, and running with that and let the Holy Spirit lead us.
Okay, guys. A big one that I want to state is prayer. As we mentioned before, prayer is going to be a good stand to take if it's something that you just keep having friction. Like you could be doing all of these steps and it just keeps being a friction in this area. Take it to the Lord and to say, Lord, I'm seeing this is not right, or I'm seeing my spouse have the same conviction in this area, or whatever it is. You guys know what you argue about or whatever the disagreement is. Take it to the Lord in prayer and say, God, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than us. I need you to intervene. Holy Spirit, We need you to intervene. And you just keep praying on that thing until you see fruit of it happening. There are plenty of times where I pray for Alvin for something to happen or for something to change, and it happened. The Lord had to do it, you know? So, another key. The last tip that we have for y'all is remembering why you said yes in the first place. Remember why you chose this spouse, why you said your I do's, the commitment and the vow that you made before the Lord. Those things are very important and very key to keep you on the right path when it comes to your marriage. And the reason why I say that is because practically anything that we enjoy doing, you know, at some point, sometimes it might become, oh, this is hard or whatever it is. It might be a lot of things that interrupt that joyride that we are on when it comes to marriage or when it comes to a job or when it comes to a career path, whatever it is. But you remember the thing that drove you to that in the first place. You remember why you started this in the first place. And so if you keep that in mind, a lot of times it will bring you back to that mellow state of mind, that mellow consciousness to say, okay, I'm going to make this work and I'm going to pray and I'm going to stick it out. So that's all we have for y'all tonight. I hope this was beneficial. We love you guys.
Any questions? DM us, DM Caitlin, DM me. Yeah. Any questions, anything like that? You know, and we know everybody's situation can be unique and different some kind of ways, but you know, always in want to add one more thing too. It's good to have, you know, wise counsel around you, wise godly counsel. People that you know that's led by the Holy Spirit, you know, that they are believers as yourself. But yeah, I know that's one thing I wanted to add to that. I don't know.
Yeah, guys, that's it. That's all we have. See y'all the next video. Peace.